Well, I have some good news. I'm actually going back to my original file, and the shenanigans with the file stuff that happened in previous episodes won't happen for the rest of this playthrough. So, yeah, we won't have to use the backup file ever again. From Hellfire to Hell itself. Now we're tackling Lava Reef Zone. I mean, I guess that means we're not really on a mission from God if we're, like, heading to hell or something like that. But, regardless, this is still the Mississippi King welcoming y'all back to more Sonic Mania. And in the last episode we tackled Oil Ocean Zone, and I seemed to go crazy from quoting Blade way too many times. And I also ended up basically running out of funny sound effects to use. And in this episode, well, I mean, I already said it, we're tackling Lava Reef Zone. And even though I called this place hell just a bit ago, it's actually one of my favorite zones. It's one that I've enjoyed ever since I was a kid and was playing like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It was always a blast to play through. And it's pretty good, and, you know, this time I think its placement in the game is perfectly appropriate. Instead of, like, where it was for Stardust Speedway, where they put it at, like, the end of the game in the original Sonic CD, and in Sonic Mania they put it, like, right before Hydro City, which is, like, it is not good placement. This, however, I think is very good placement because it is an endgame stage in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Like, it's at the very end, so it's like, it's appropriate. And this is, like, one of the last zones in this game, too. So I think they chose to put it in the perfect spot. And, well, I feel I should talk a bit about Oil Ocean. I actually kind of enjoy it, but I have, like, mixed feelings. Part of it is because it's, like, overexposed a bit, I feel. It's, like, one of those zones. And, granted, that doesn't necessarily make it bad. I mean, I still love Green Hill Zone, even though that is exposed to death, and, like, it's been put in, like, every Sonic game ever and whatnot, and that's kind of annoying, but for Oil Ocean Zone, it feels more like kind of a mixed bag for me in terms of zones. I mean, it's still fun, but I mean in terms of, like, compared to other Sonic games. And on that topic, there was something that I kind of got into at the end of the last episode, but I didn't really elaborate on, and that's the level transitions. You see, this game has level transitions just like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. However, I think that Sonic 3 and Knuckles had better level transitions because, like, one, they were all designed with that game in mind. Like, they were only focusing on how it would make the experience of that game better. So they had to really think about how these zones connected and whatnot. And second, they also lacked the Phantom Ruby, and I feel that, like, the Phantom Ruby kind of feels like a cheap way out. Like, it's kind of... it feels like it's cheating. It's the video game equivalent of, like, stitching something together with duct tape, and it just feels cheap, and it doesn't feel like it was particularly thought out. It's kind of a crutch for that. And so it's not that satisfying, I find, to, like, have the level transitions be so simplistic like that, because it's like, it's just used as a catch-all. And, you know, that's not really what level transitions were meant to do in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. They were meant to, like, show you how each zone connected to one another. They were meant to show you how the world is so related and how the paths to one zone lead into another. They were meant to show you just how much thought was put into it, and it's like here, for the Phantom Ruby, it just feels like they put it in. Like, they just thought, well, we need to have a level transition, so, like, let's just use the Phantom Ruby since we can't come up with anything else. And it's a shame, too. It feels like they could have gone somewhere with that, but they didn't. But anyway, let's actually talk about this zone, shall we? I mean, I haven't really talked much about it so far, but, it's actually kind of trickier. Like, I think it's, placed pretty good in this, game, because, like, it is relatively difficult compared to, like, various previous, zones, because you can get hit a lot. But of course, difficulty is relative, because, like, you know, this is still what I'd call pretty easy, because it really doesn't provide much of a challenge. But in comparison to the rest of the game, it is pretty tough. So, like, again, if you're going up, like, in terms of, like, absolute difficulty or something like that, or whatever, then, well, it's not that difficult. I mean, of course, I'm pretty good. Because, like, you know, that's what Revolver Ocelot would say, I guess. You're pretty good. You know, I don't know why I keep quoting Metal Gear Solid in this game. It's kind of a strange thing to be quoting and whatnot. It's just a part of my box of insanity. I don't know why I keep having this urge to quote it, but you should come inside the box. Then you'll know what I mean. Man, that could be taken out of context quite easily, actually. As for this zone, it's good to have the flame shield, because, well, it can protect you from fire, and unless you have it, expect to take a lot of hits. Watch out for all of the things that can damage you. But fortunately, since I have the fire shield, I'll be protected from the flames, and also Shadow the Hedgehog, because that game is hot garbage, and it protects me from that flaming dumpster fire. Yeah, you thought I wasn't going to bring up Shadow the Hedgehog? I am a master at weaving anything in that can attack Shadow the Hedgehog, because that is a terrible game. Like, I really despise it. It's just, I don't know, folks, it's just hot garbage. Anyway, I should probably talk about something else. We're actually going to be facing off against the final hard-boiled heavy in Act 2. So I figured I may as well, like, give some closing thoughts on it. Okay, to be more accurate, we're not quite fighting the last one, because, like, Knuckles has an alternate boss fight, which is also one of the hard-boiled heavies and whatnot. So, you know, it's not exactly like this is the last we'll see of them and whatnot. But still, nonetheless, I actually want to, like, talk about the mini-bosses squad. Well, I mean, they're full bosses. You know what I mean. Like, it's actually really neat. I kind of wish that they, like, had more stuff like that, more mini-bosses that, like, had as much personality as that, because it feels like you don't get, well, I mean, barring some of the more recent entries, but it's like, not a lot of Sonic games actually include mini-boss squads like that, and the hard-boiled heavies are actually kind of neat, and I kind of wish they'd use that trope a bit more and whatnot. And part of why I love this level so much, it's, I mean, of course, as I've said, have I said? Regardless, it's one of my favorites, and I just love how much personality it has. Like, that's one thing that you can say about Sonic games, is that they have a lot of personality. The levels, that is, I find, have a lot more personality than, like, your average game. Well, I mean, excluding Shadow the Hedgehog, because, of course, that game is hot garbage. And yes, I ain't passing up any opportunity to criticize Shadow the Hedgehog. And talk about cutting it close, would you look at that time? I had like less than 20 seconds left. I mean, there's cutting it close for you. Also, that reminds me of something else that I need to talk about. Why does this game include continues? You see, the original version of Sonic Mania did not include continues. And, you know, like, that's understandable, because, you know, they were kind of made obsolete by Sonic 3 and Knuckles' save system. It's understandable that they'd get rid of them, and, like, I can maybe get why they'd include continues in, like, Encore mode, but not regular mode, not Mania mode. Like, what's the point of that? It seems, well, kind of silly, because, like, what do they serve? Like, in Encore mode, it doesn't rely on lives, so of course it makes sense that they'd use it there. But in this, like, no, it does rely on lives, so what's the point of including them? Because this, like, does rely on lives, and it's like, there's not really much point to continues, because again, like, you can just reload the save file. And anyway, I feel I should talk about Act 2 of Lava Reef Zone. And one thing that I like about it is that, like, it feels almost like a completely different zone from, like, Act 1. And this was also true in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but I feel it's even truer here because it just looks so distinct. And it did look distinct before, but, like, now you have, like, conveyor belts from Quartz Quadrant, which is a nice element to include. I kind of enjoyed them.
Sonic CD is still one of my favorite Sonic games. I mean, I don't really get why several people dislike it. You know, it's not my favorite, but, you know, I think it's still one of the best. And so now let's actually try and get through this. It's getting crazy, so let's just hop on to it. And, like, well, you see, I have an urge to collect as many lives as possible because, you know, I need to get as many... Well, no, I mean, look at how many lives I have. I'm not in danger of getting a game over, in case anyone thought otherwise. Because, like, when you have, like, what's that, 80 plus lives? That's ridiculous. That is, like, the definition of overkill. But, you know what I say? Better overkill than underkill. Because, like, if it's like underkill, then there's a risk that, like, you know, it won't actually work. And overkill, the only danger is that, like, well, maybe it's a bit excessive, but at least you know it works. So that's why, that is my defense of overkill. I mean, you don't get stuff like that very often, but you do get it from me. And I don't know what that says about the common discourse and how they tend to ignore such pressing matters as, like, whether or not you have important matters with an angry dog, because don't trust them angry dogs.
Why dogs in particular? Well, I mean, Cerberus does guard the gates of hell, and Cerberus is a dog. And this place looks like hell, so you see, it comes full circle. Everything I'm talking about, there's a method to my madness, and y'all thought I was just nuts or something like that. I mean, I am. I'm just saying that I'm not nuts and that there's a method to my madness, but still, I mean, we can still, like, claim that or something. I mean, I'm still clearly familiar with what I'm doing. And dang it! Freaking death right there. So many deaths, like, why is it that, like, ever since I've fought, like, Metal Sonic, I have, like, been dying every video. Like, no video has been deathless since then. It's ridiculous, I say. Has Metal Sonic cursed me with sudden suckage? I mean, it's not like it really matters, because again, losing one life when I have, like, 83 or so, or 84, that's no big deal. I really do not need that many lives. However, I mean, still is kind of annoying that I, like, died to so many things in these past few videos. It's ridiculous. Anyway, of course, as you may expect, as I've stated earlier, the boss is the last of the hard-boiled heavies, in Sonic's playthrough, that is. And, well, that last one is Heavy Rider. And Heavy Rider is actually one of my favorite fights of the hard-boiled heavies. It's kind of tied, I think, with Heavy Shinobi, but Heavy Rider is pretty fun because, like, she charges at you with, like, some sort of ball and chain, and it's really clever, and it's fun dodging it. That's pretty enjoyable, I find. The one problem is that the hitbox seems a little unclear at times. It's, like, kind of difficult to tell when exactly it will count as a hit, like, when you... I mean, like, for you, for, like, the ball and chain and whatnot. But other than that, I find it to be a very enjoyable fight. It relies heavily on reflexes, so it can make for a fairly intense fight. You need to, like, jump at the right time, and of course you'll want to watch out for the fire. And, well, that's it. But what's that in the background? Is it the Death Egg? I don't know. But, I mean, I guess that will have to be it for this video. Find out next time. Well, okay, I'll say in the next episode, we'll tackle Metallic Madness. So, this is the Mississippi King signing out. See y'all then.